And good evening, everyone, and welcome into the UFC Fight Cards podcast presented by Orange Fire Media. I'm your host, Russ Renaud, and thanks for joining us here right after UFC Fight Night. Song Yadong taking on Chris Gutierrez live from the Las Vegas Apex. And so we've got a recap tonight. We're going to look ahead to UFC 296. We're going to preview that. So we are here for the live instant reaction right after UFC Fight Night. Song versus Gutierrez, and we appreciate you being here for our instant reaction here tonight. On the second part of the show, when we get into talking about the trading cards, we'll be looking at some of our live rip hits that we've had over the past couple of months. We'll be looking at the autographs and some of the higher end cards that we have left. We have moved a few this week, and so it's always good to see, and we'll get into that as we get on later in the show, but let's get right into it. So just we got an instant reaction, and just for, obviously it's an instant reaction, so there is a spoiler alert on here that we are going to talk about the results from tonight's UFC event, so we are going to give away the results. So if you don't want to listen to those, then you can tune out now. So let's get right into it, and let's start with that main event. And I got our notes over here tonight instead of the other side. So just finished bantamweight division top 15 matchup. Number 7 Song Yadong taking on number 15 Chris Gutierrez, and Song Yadong getting the unanimous decision victory over Chris Gutierrez. Really dominant in those last 2 rounds. And you saw one of those scorecards was 50-44. So that's probably round 4 when Yadong got the knockdown and had a ton of control time there. In the 4th round, Gutierrez making the mistake in the 5th round, missing and, giving up the ground, and Yadong pounced on him. And, just a one-way fight from that 4th round on. Looked pretty good, first, second round, pretty competitive. Then you see Song Yadong kind of systematically start to break that one down and take over and get the win over Chris Gutierrez. That's a big win for Song Yadong. So just sets him up going forward, because really his lone loss is to Corey Sandhagen, that we're talking about recently. To Corey Sandhagen, who's probably next in line after Chito Vera takes on Sean O'Malley. We'll see what happens with Aljamain Sterling if he stays at 135 and gets another shot, or Rob. But Song Yadong is right there in that category. He's one of the contenders now, and so I think he just solidified that tonight with his performance, and may have to go through somebody else. He has a win over Chito and the loss to Sandhagen, so we'll see what happens going forward. But really impressive win there. So what was not impressive was Anthony Smith in the co-main event. Khalil Roundtree Jr. Doing a great job and getting a knockout in the 3rd round. It kind of looked like it was going Khalil Roundtree Jr.'s way the whole fight. Then able to finally finish Anthony Smith off in the 3rd. Got a big uppercut and finished him off with the left hand. And Anthony Smith went down, and Khalil Roundtree Jr. did not have to go to the hammer fist to finish it off. So Khalil Roundtree Jr., number 11 coming in, and taking on number 8 ranked Anthony Smith in the light heavyweight division. And so not an impressive performance for Anthony Smith. And this is the backside of the career. And, we've got the broadcasting stuff going on. He's on the desk at the UFC events that he's not fighting in. So I don't know what this means for him going forward, but looks like his road to a title is certainly over. And that, if that is his main goal, then maybe the broadcasting career should be the thing that comes up next. Because he's such a great competitor, such a great fighter, that you want to go out a winner. But I don't know if this gets any better for Anthony Smith. Just had the split decision over Ryan Spann, somebody he had handled pretty easily before. Had a loss to Johnny Walker. It was pretty one-sided. So hats off to Khalil Roundtree Jr. for getting the job done. I'm not going to say it's really impressive, though. I just don't see Roundtree Jr. as a big contender in this light heavyweight division the way it is right now with Pereira and Prochazka, Jamal Hill. We'll see what he looks like coming back. Like I said, just not one of those elite guys right now. But certainly a great performance tonight. Then we go down the card. Nasrat Haqparast getting the win over Jamie Mullarkey, a knockout in the first round. Dropped Jamie Mullarkey, then pounced on him with the ground and pound and got the job done. So very impressive win there to make a name for himself, towards the top of one of these fight night cards. Then we saw, this one was really impressive too, Tim Elliott with the submission in the first round over Sumaderji. So Tim Elliott coming in ranked number 11 in the flyweight division. This was a bantamweight matchup, taking on number 12 Sumaderji, and Tim Elliott getting that arm triangle and putting Sumaderji to sleep. Great win there for Tim Elliott to kind of get back on track and get these back-to-back wins and kind of start building some momentum going forward. Then to round out that main card, Andre Muniz defeating Jun Young Park. Split decision there to start off that main card. Then some of the other highlights from the night, Kevin Jusay with a unanimous decision over Song Kanan in the welterweight division. Then looking down the card a little bit, we get down to the second fight of the night. It was kind of one of the bigger ones. I thought it should have been higher up on the card. One of the great rookies from the 2023 products, just named ESPN's top 25 under 25, Tatsuro Taira, with a second round TKO over Carlos Hernandez, flyweight contender on his way up. Not ranked there yet, but he soon will be. Tatsuro Taira looking great. Looking forward to seeing him in action again really soon after getting a pretty solid victory there in the second round, not taking too much damage. So great night from the Apex. Unfortunately, I've kind of followed Anthony Smith, listening to Believe You Me podcast and stuff. So kind of a fan of Anthony Smith, but kind of disappointed that things went that way tonight. But not saying I'm really surprised. Just the way he's looked lately, just a little bit slower. Kind of hoped he had one last run in there. But hats off to Roundtree Jr. for that win. So let's now look forward to UFC 296 next weekend from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. And we got the welterweight championship on the line between Leon Edwards and the number 2 ranked contender Colby Covington, who has been off for a very long time. So let's get into a little bit of prediction time. Don't do it too much on the show, but we're going to get into that. We're going to start doing that more as we go forward. So this is the second to last show of the year. This is season 1. This is show number 44. We're going to have 45 episodes the first year that we were on. And so that I'm really proud of that. And thanks for joining us here and being part of it. So next weekend we'll be live after UFC 296, and we'll wrap everything up. And that will be the year for us. And then we'll come back. What's the date on that next card? It is January 3rd, I believe. We'll get to that in just a second. So anyway, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But let's get to UFC 296 first. So as much as I would love for Colby Covington to win this match, I believe this one's going to go to Leon Edwards. It just has too much going for him right now. Colby's been off a long time. I don't know that there's a path for Colby to win this fight. He couldn't get it done against Usman twice, and I don't see him doing it against Edwards. And usually the way these things go, the person that I like, that I'm kind of cheering for, they don't do very well in these fights. And Colby Covington's the one I'm going for, so I'm picking Leon Edwards to win this fight. So then we also have the flyweight championship of the world on the line. Alessandro Pantoja against number 4 Brandon Royval. And I'm going to go with Pantoja in the second installment of this matchup. He beat Royval before. And so I just think that having that belt means a lot and I'm going to pick Pantoja to retain that title. So then we've got a huge welterweight matchup. Number 5 against number 6. Shavkat Rakhmonov against Stephen Thompson. And so don't see this one going well for Wonder Boy. Just Shavkat probably should be ranked higher in this division, honestly, and one of the hottest fighters in all of the UFC. And I just think he gets this one done pretty easily. This one's the harder one to pick. Tony Ferguson, Paddy Pimblett, and this one's been talked about. Lightweight matchup that Paddy Pimblett's called it a lose-lose for him. That it's just, if he wins, then you got Tony Ferguson on the backside of his career. If he loses, then you lost to somebody who's washed up. So you know what? As much as I think Tony Ferguson actually wins this match. So I mean, he hasn't looked bad in those losses. I know he's got a huge losing streak coming in. Paddy's been billed as the next thing. Just one of those people that the UFC takes care of, and I don't buy into that a whole lot. For fighters, there is some protecting them before they get to the octagon. Once they're in there, they're in there, and what's going to happen is going to happen. And I think Tony Ferguson's going to take this ever so slightly. I'm leaning that way. So then we got a welterweight matchup. Number 8, Vicente Luque against number 10, Ian Machado Gary. This was a hard call too, and you've seen Ian Machado Gary in the news a lot lately, just with as much as he talks and as much as people talk about him. But I think the quieter guy is going to do well in this one. I think Vicente Luque is going to do big things in this matchup and take this win. So we're going Luque to finish off the main card, and what a main card that is. You got tons of ranked fighters in that main card. The only one where there's not ranked fighters, Ferguson and Pimblett. Ferguson, obviously former interim champ, and Pimblett, one of the up-and-comers in the lightweight division. We did have one change to the cards in the last fight on the prelims, the one leading into the main card. We were supposed to see Josh Emmett and Giga Chikadze, but Chikadze pulling his groin this week in training. So Bryce Mitchell is going to step up. So we got number 6, Josh Emmett, number 10, Bryce Mitchell in the featherweight division. That one should be exciting. I'm going to lean Bryce Mitchell on that one. His only loss is to Ilia Topuria. He had the flu that week, and so I feel for him. If you can't tell my voice this week, I've been going through a lot here in the Renault household this week. But so I'm going to go Bryce Mitchell to keep it going against Josh Emmett and kind of get himself going. Women's bantamweight matchup, top 10, number 5, Irene Aldana against number 9, Carol Hosa. Looking for Irene Aldana to bounce back from that just awful performance against Amanda Nunes. There's no way to sugarcoat that one. But I look for her to bounce back. And those lights not being so bright this time, being able to get the job done. Cody Garbrandt, Brian Kelleher, kind of hard to call. If Cody Garbrandt's healthy and that neck's feeling healthy, I'm going to go Garbrandt. And so that's the last one we're going to pick. But I will run down the rest of the fights. Women's flyweight division, number 14, Casey O'Neill, Ariane Lipski. I do like this light heavyweight matchup, though. So far down on the card, it's just how great this card is. Number 14, Alonzo Minifield against number 15, Dustin Jacoby. The one prediction I will make on this fight is that it will not go the distance. So that one is the one that you can put in your parlay. Then we got Tagir Ulanbekov, flyweight matchup against Cody Durden. Ulanbekov ranked number 13. Flyweight division, Andre Fili against Lucas Almeida, one of the rookies in 2023 products. The heavyweight matchup, number 15, Martin Buday against Shamil Gaziv. That's a heavyweight matchup. And then a welterweight matchup to start off the card. Randy Brown against Muslim Salikov, and we do have a Randy Brown auto card that we'll show here in just a second. So now we run through the rest of the events for this year and into the early part of next year. So let's get to Fight Night on January 3rd, and that's the next time that we're going to have a show. So that'll be from the Apex, and that will be Magomed Ankalaev against Johnny Walker, light heavyweight matchup, number 3 against number 7. A flyweight matchup, this one added, number 6 against number 8, Mateus Nicolau against number 8, Manel Kopp. Lightweight matchup, Jim Miller, Gabriel Benitez, and women's bantamweight matchup, number 4, Ketlin Vieira, number 10, Macy Chiasson. Bantamweight matchup, number 13, Ricky Simone against Mario Bautista. So that's a really good Fight Night card to start off the year. Just looking back down the card, and this one's a big one. Looking to the 2024 products, when Fanatics and Topps take over the new products, so we'll see what rookie products they have. But one of the rookies to watch, I would hope would be in the 2024 products is Basel Hafez, and he'll be taking on Preston Parsons. Welterweight matchup. We got a women's bantamweight ranked matchup between Yana Santos and Norma Dumont, number 8 against number 11. And that looks to be all of the rookies and ranked fighters that are on that card. Then we get to UFC 297. And this is January 20th in Toronto. And the middleweight title on the line, the champion Sean Strickland against the number 1 contender, Dricus du Plessis. And so we'll get to predictions later on when we get closer to that fight and we come back after the new year with our second season. The women's bantamweight title will be on the line, and that is vacant right now. It'll be number 2, Raquel Pennington against number 3, Mayra Bueno Silva. Obviously, number 1 is Juliana Pena, recovering from her injuries. And so then we've got a welterweight matchup, number 13, Neil Magny against Mike Malott. Light heavyweight matchup, great one here. Number 4, Jan Blachowicz against number 5, Alexander Rakic. Rakic was injured about a year and a half ago, and maybe 2 years ago. It's a year and a half ago, in a matchup with Blachowicz, and was looking pretty good in that fight before he went down. So getting to run it back here, and we'll have another one that's kind of like that we'll talk about here in a second. Featherweight matchup, number 4, Arnold Allen, number 9, Movsar Evloev. And then we got a light heavyweight matchup, number 13, Dominic Reyes and Carlos Ulberg. Also ranked fighters, middleweight division, number 14, Chris Curtis against Marc-Andre Barriot. No other rookies on that card. Got a few other ones added this week. Fight Night, February 3rd from the Apex. Number 7, Roman Dolidze against number 12, Nasruddin Imavov, middleweight matchup there. That one was already announced, but some of the rest of the cards being filled out a little bit. William Gomez against Melsik Bagdasarian, featherweight matchup. And a women's strawweight matchup between Molly McCann, making her return against Diana Belbita. Then we get to Fight Night on February 10th. Middleweight matchup, number 10, Jack Hermanson against Joe Pyfer. Loma Lukbami, women's strawweight matchup against Bruna Brazil. Then the other ones that we know of right now, UFC 298, February 17th in Anaheim. Featherweight matchup between the champion Alexander Volkanovski and the 5th-ranked contender Ilia Topuria. And the bantamweight championship on the line, UFC 299, March 9th in Miami. Obviously at Sugar Sean O'Malley against Chito Vera. And maybe sometime this spring, who knows, before Ramadan, that we may see Islam Makhachev take on Charles Oliveira. So I don't know if they'll double up 1 month on numbered pay-per-views when UFC 300 is going to happen. But Islam against Charles would certainly be a great contender for UFC 300. Also heard about some things happening with Fight Night on February 24th from Mexico. So rumor has it, this is not official yet, but it seems to be trending in that direction, that we're going to see Yair Rodriguez and Brian Ortega 2 for that fight night, February 24th in Mexico City. So obviously Ortega injured the last time he fought, and it was against Yair Rodriguez, separated the shoulder, and so Yair Rodriguez went on to claim an interim title, fight for the belt since then. So it should be interesting to see Ortega's return to the octagon. And also a co-main event for that event would be Brandon Moreno taking on Amir Albazi in the flyweight division. So the former champion taking on one of the top 3 contenders. So it would be a number 1 contender matchup there, since we've got Pantoja and Royval coming up next weekend. So see who comes out of this one. Albazi, if he can get past Moreno, then you get another shot at Pantoja. So whoever wins that one probably gets the next title shot there. So that is all for our instant reaction from UFC Fight Night tonight, and also our preview for UFC 296 to finish off the year. So now we'll take a look at the cards we have left. We're leaving out our Hobby Top 5 this week because a little bit of technical difficulties. That's why we're on a little bit later too. But let's go through our select that we have, and I'll just go through some of the bigger ones that we have left. Jack Della Maddalena, we've still got this select, number to 49, the purple auto. We've also got a Ray rookie auto from Don Russ. So great little Jack Della Maddalena lot, and we'll tell you how you can find all of these if you just don't want to reach out to the show directly. We can tell you where to find them. But we're just going to hit the highlights here. I'm going to hit like a lot of our autograph cards and such. You can go through this Jared Cannonier a lot. Yeah, that'd be good. So going through our Don Russ, we start off with Marvin Vettori signature series. That also includes Prism auto. Got a big Marvin Vettori lot there. We've got a Damon Jackson blue hollow laser auto, number 25. And we've got Jared Cannonier. We've got a blue and a red. So number 49, number 75, and a lot of other Jared Cannoniers to throw in there. So let's switch over to Prism. And we got a BJ Penn. This was a replacement for Redemption we sent in, so sealed by Panini. This is a legendary signature from last year, the BJ Penn 2022. Also gets a red hollow laser of 75. Got a few other parallel cards. A lot of other BJ Penn cards to throw in there, even some backs of 2015. There's that Randy Brown we were talking about. Randy Brown auto. Also gets a silver. And then our lowest number card left is this Macy Chiasson Octagon Prism. That's a bookend. That's numbered 8 of 8. So Macy Chiasson, Ruby Wave to go with that. And then another redemption we sent off is a Israel Adesanya throwback signatures. Saw some news online that Izzy did sign, and so these should be coming in. So hopefully we'll see that soon, but that'll also get a purple and an orange for you if you want those. So looking forward to getting that Izzy in there. So yeah, those are our highlights, the autograph cards that we have left. And that is not even considering the Tom Aspinall and the Michael Chandler cards we have. If you looked at the past shows that we've had, we had our Tom Aspinall collection, our Michael Chandler those were both showed off on previous shows. You can take a look at those if you're interested in those two fighters. But you can find us at orange-fire.com. You can reach out to me directly in my email, russ@orange-fire.com. You can find me on X at FightCardsRuss or at OrangeFire Media. Find me on Facebook, just my profile, or the Orange Fire Media profile. And the best place to look at all the cards that we have, most of them are listed on eBay at the Orange Fire Lots of Lots store. You can go there. You can get multiple lots. You can get combined shipping. And we have a lot of stuff on there. We've got about 40 lots, 45 maybe now, that we listed a lot of the sets that we have. We've got 8 sets of Don Russ, 1 through 200, but we also, one of those is every base card in the set, 1 through all 325 cards. So we also have a set of Prism, and we're close to a full set of inserts on the Prism, but we've got 2 sets of Prism in there, and 1 through 200, and every rookie card, and we can also include one that's just all rookies. We have a few left of every rookie card, and we could throw in a whole set of those just rookie cards. But that is our show for the week, with this instant reaction late here on Saturday night, now into Sunday morning. But we're going to come back next week after UFC 296, do the same thing with our instant reaction. That's kind of going to be what we do here from now on. Get into a little bit more about betting and picking fights and see how we do going forward. But again, thanks for joining us here after the fights, and we'll see you next week for our final show of 2023 right here on the UFC Fight Cards podcast presented by Orange Fire Media. I'm Russ Renault. You enjoy the rest of the weekend, and we will see you next week right here on YouTube in the UFC Fight Cards podcast.